Mercedes Girly Balaba be recognized first.
Councilor Girly Balaba, you have the floor.
Our presiding officer, vice mayor, colleagues, employees of the legislative office, our guests physically with us today, and those watching us online through our social media platform. So I am here today to endorse an ordinance calling for the professionalization of our early childhood care and development, or ECCD, service providers, granting them benefits and privileges crafted by the Office of the City Social Welfare and Development. So that I may be able to express clearly this proposal, Madam Chair, and so that most of our constituents listening to us right now would be able to fully understand the plight of our ECCD service providers or daycare teachers, I would like to speak, switch in
of course.
vernacular. So, una sa tanan, base sa research studies nga gihimo sa UNICEF, aduna kitay learning loss sa pipila na katuig sa atong mga kabatan-unan, and this study was conducted even before the pandemic. When we say learning loss, Madam Chair, ang usa ka 15-year-old nga bata is 6 years behind base sa iyang mental aptitude test results. So ang 15-year-old, ang iyahang natun-an base mo ano lang sa mga 9-year-old na bata. So dili kay siguro kayo sa kaning kulang sa kining reading comprehension, no, kining mga writing skills, etc., even math. So tungod diini ang atong mga panggamhanan naninguha nga makarecover aning learning poverty pinaagi sa mga programa nga mapalig-on ug mahatagan og dakong importansya ang atong mga ECCD. Kay base usab sa mga studies, children who enrolled early in preschools have better production when they enter into regular schools. Ug nganong atong mga bata dili man ma-enroll sa ilang mga ginikanan sa mga daycare centers. Perhaps because they thought their children do not learn anything from daycare centers kay magdula-dula raman didto daw, which is in fact false. Kay children at the age of 2, 3, 4, and 5 years learn through plays. Mao bitaw nga gitawag pud ang mga daycare centers ug play schools kay dinhi makabalo sila sa mga color, mga simple numbers, mga basic forms, mga circle, mga square, and more importantly, they know how to interact with other children, developing their social and emotional skills. Ikaduha, Madam Chair, kay ang atong mga daycare teachers or ECCD teachers mismo, adunay kakulangon sa kahibalo ug ang uban dili mula hutay tungod sa walay igong sweldo ug ang uban ilisan ni kapitan tungod kay wala misuporta sa iya sa eleksyon, dili ganahan ang kapitan sa iyang dagway or pulihan sa silingan sa kapitan or sa paryente sa kapitan. In other words, walay seguridad ang pagtrabaho sa atong mga daycare teachers. And yet, these daycare teachers undergo trainings and seminars by our city government, no, shouldered by our city government. And the big share of their honorariums, ang syudad ang gahatag. Sayang kung buot huna-hunaon ang kwarta nga gigastos atong syudad alang sa pag-conduct sa training sa atong mga daycare teachers only to be replaced and fired at the behest of the punong barangays anytime. So mao ka na atong buot nga likayan, Madam Chair. We can only ensure the quality education of our children if we also have quality educators. And this is what this ordinance is all about. If we must invest for the progress and development of our city, we must put importance on investing on the education of our children as they are the future leaders of our city. So it is my prayer, Madam Chair, that this ordinance would be tackled with the Committee on Education and the Committee on Social Services.
And Liga,
And
I hope.
yes,
Barangay man daycare.
Barangay Affairs.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. That is a very good report. I also noticed that it happens after new capitans is installed, then mahawa usay ang uban. Yes, Councilor Attorney Joy Abu.
Thank you, Madam Presiding Officer. May I just pose a question to the good reporter? Just for a clarification, if we want to institutionalize the sa akong nabalaan pa, Madam Presiding Officer, is kanang city development center sa kanang daycare. Would it be would these teachers, CDT teachers, be hired under the local government unit of Cagayan de Oro or still with the barangays? That's just my question.
Okay. Thank you very much, Councilor Attorney Joy Abu. Yes. Councilor Joylene Balaba.
So the city mayor shall be the appointing authority of any CDT after possessing the qualifications and none of the disqualifications, provided that the CDT or the child development teacher has been officially endorsed by the punong barangay, and the head or designated head of the city social welfare and development department after a favorable recommendation from the ECCD pre-screening team. So it is the appointing power would be on the city mayor, but endorsement would be coming from the punong barangays.
Yeah, if I may, some of these daycares are already regular employees of City Hall, right? Those that can be removed, if I'm not mistaken, those that can be removed are those who are not yet regular. Is it the situation? Kaya ngano tangtangon man, with them being their salary is taken from the city, and a portion also taken from the barangay. Ugnay ikahatag ang barangay. So I am just asking whether some of these are already regular daycare teachers, but the rest are not regular daycare teachers. So ang matangtang ra gyud ato, katurag yung dili regular. Okay, yes, Councilor Suzette Daba, you have the floor.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. Maayong hapon sa tanan. Anyway, Madam Chair, we still need to discuss this at the committee level.
Okay.
So we will have a joint committee meeting and we need to polish pa, Madam Chair, the
Okay.
implementing rules and regulations, because as much as possible, we don't want it politicized. If naagya po yung recommendation from the kapitan or
Yeah.
mahulog gihapon na inana, no? But anyway, Madam Chair, for discussion pa man niya siya. But I'm also very supportive to the good reporters, special report, Madam Chair, para dili masayang ang mga trainings na nadawat sa atong mga teachers, because every year, no, we make it a point to, uplift and improve also the manner of teaching sa ato ang mga child development teachers. So maybe if there's a technical working group that we can create for the crafting of the ordinance para ma-finalize
Yeah.
tanan, Madam Chair, we will do that at the committee level.
Yeah, precisely why I'm asking whether these are regular and non-regular. The daycares, are they classified as, I'm just asking because I'm curious. Regular and non-regular. Yes, Councilor Girly Balaba?
In the draft ordinance, Madam Chair, for professionalizing the ECCD service and sustainability of the ECCD program, there will be a creation, no, with the appropriations of 200 plantilla positions of daycare worker 1 and daycare worker 2, of which 10 positions shall be created and appropriated in 2025 and continue thereafter.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay. Can we proceed now to the second speaker? Any more questions? Wala na? Okay. Yes, Councilor Ayan Achas.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Maayong hapon to our Vice Mayor. Jocelyn Bibot Rodriguez, to the fellow councilmen and to the people of Cagayan de Oro. Gamay lang akong pangutana, Madam Chair, no? Kung ang issue kabahin sa pagkaputbol sa mga daycare kung magpuli ang bagong administration, pila nakabook daycares nga nga football during sa pagbago nga mga kapitan. Kaya when I was ipunong barangay, natigulang na lang ang among daycare, wala magiging siya napulihan. Then, ang barangay, ga-counterpart sa gamay nga inorarium para sa iyang daycare. Then, the punong barangay will appoint the daycare teacher paingon sa city. And gusto na ko masabtan kung unsay mechanism, kung maingon ta og professionalism kabahin sa atong mga daycare teachers. Are they covered? Kung dayon ni ang atong programa, covered ba sila sa civil service? They will be permanent in the government. Kay sa kung nasabtan sa barangay, pagsugod manggod sa mga daycares, voluntary ra gyud ang pagtudlo din ha, Madam Chair. Ang uban, atuod man, wala nakagraduate, nakatungtong lang sa kolehiyo, pero for over years, nagtudlo na sila sa daycare. Mawala ba sila kung it comes to professionalism? Kay kung itanaw na to, ang mechanics ani, basig unyag ma-deprive na hinuon. Katong mga daycare teacher nga way back 20 years ago, 30 years ago nga nagtudlo sa barangay, nga ang ilang gikuptan, mao lamang ang training nga gihatag sa CSWD para mag-handle sa atong mga daycare teachers.
Okay.
That will be.
Thank you very much. I'd like to add, wala gyud ilis. Once they are already city paid, wala na. Ang ako ra gyud nga nasauna because my daycare teachers has been there for so long. Pila na gyud nga kapitan nga agi. Di magyud makama-football because why? Plantilla niya is their regular as employed. Kato ra mga volunteers kato. Mga siguro job orders siguro, no? So anyway, that will be handled by the Committee on Education, Social Services, and Barangay Affairs. Okay. Thank you very much. Our next speaker, Councilor Attorney James Judith, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Presiding Officer. Sa atong halandong Presiding Officer, Vice Mayor Jocelyn Bebot Rodriguez, Majority Floor Leader, Council Adler Cabanlas, akong tinahod ng mga kauban sa konseho, mga bisita, kagayanon, maupay. Madam Presiding Officer, ang Certificate of Public Convenience o CPC, kun prangkisa, usa ka pagtugot nga gihatag sa atong gobyerno sa mga operator sa gitawag nato nagkadaiyang mga sakyanang di pasayroan. Pwede bus, pwede jeep, pwede taxi. Mao nang kung gapadayon ka nag-operate, nga wala gani kay prangkisa nga gihatag gikan sa LTFRB, ang tawag sa imo, usa ka kolorom. Kaya wa man ka nasubay sa balaod, wala man kay prangkisa, pero taliwala nga wala kay prangkisa, nagpadayon gyapon ka og operate o nagmaneho sa imong taxi. Kabahin sa problema sa taxi dinhi sa atong dakbayan. Base sa atong tala, Madam Presiding Officer, dili mo ubos og 200 ka mga kolorom nga mga taxi nga naglipana, nagdagandagan dinhi sa kadalanan sa atong dakbayan. Ang problema ra ba dayon kay ang kakapasanginlan ang uban nga mga sakyanan nga di pasayroan. Na kung but sumahon, ang problema pod sa atong mga taxi operators and drivers dili ang uban nga mga sakyanan pamasayroan, kundi dili ila ra gyapon kauban nga mga taxi operators or drivers kay kolorom og wala sila nasayod. Isa ka pamaagi o diskarte nga kolorom nga taxi, Madam Presiding Officer, kay isa ra ang body number or gitawag nila gi-clone. Isa ra tuod ang body number pero duha ka units ang ga-operate. Dili masayran sa tanan, kay dili man gadungan or makita sa katawan ang kining duha ka unit pero isa ra nag-ambit sila sa usara ka body number. Kay pwede man ang isa ka taxi tuwa dito sa Kauswagan o ang lain tuwa dito sa barangay Gusa. Agod dili makita kay dili magid tuyoon man sa operator nga dili sila pag-uman o pagdungan aron mahalata nga pareha day sila og body number. Lain pod nga pamagi na ay mag-operate og taxi nga walay markings kundi katulang ang taxi nga signage ibutang sa ibabaw kung field bali sa operator or driver. Napoy taxi nga naa ang mga markings pero walay body number. Pagtuo sa ilang mga kauban nga operator or driver, kolorom or legit bali nga taxi pero kolorom di ay. Ato ning gidala nga problema dinhi sa wanan sa atong konseho kay sagad ni nga problema nga gipadangat kanato sa atong mga taxi operators og drivers. Kang ilang reklamo gakatuok na kuno sila, problema na kuno gakapektuhan sila sa ila baling panginabuhian. Pues ato kining gidala dinhi Madam Presiding Officer kay but nato nga mastoryahan bali ang LTFRB nga ang maoy line agency sa atong pangangamhanan gitahasan, gitagaan og mandato sa atong balaod nga mo'y magtan-aw kabahin ani bali or mo'y magpatuman sa balaod bali sa kining franchising dinhi sa atong nasod. Mo na nga but nato kining gusto nga matuki uban ng LTFRB. Mo na Madam Chair, at this juncture I would like to refer this matter to the Committee on Public Utilities chaired by the good Councilor General Romy Caliso. Maura kato, Madam Presiding Officer, daghang salamat o asdang Cagayan de Oro.
Okay, thank you very much. So refer to the Committee on Public Utilities. Wala man si Councilor. Okay. So let us proceed. Majority Floor Leader, Attorney Edgar Cabanlas.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. So we proceed to our business of the day. Propose omnibus motion 1 to 3. Turks, please.
For omnibus approval, items 1, 2, 3. Item 1 is proposed resolution number 2024-651, returning to Barangay Council of Barangay number 5, this city, its ordinance number 2024-01-001, series of 2023, covering its annual budget for CY 2024 with an estimated income of 3,171,731 pesos. Item 2 is proposed resolution number 2024-652, returning to the Barangay Council of Barangay number 9, this city, its ordinance number 001, series of 2024, covering its annual budget for CY 2024 with an estimated income of 3,702,096 pesos. Item 3 is proposed resolution number 2024-653, returning to the Barangay Council of Barangay number 31, the city, its ordinance number 1, series of 2024, covering its annual budget for calendar year 2024 with an estimated income of 8,171,985 pesos, with the information that said ordinances are operative in their entirety.
May I request Councilor Yan Lamlim be recognized, Madam Chair.
Councilor Yan Lamlim, you recognize? Wala siya.
Oh, so,
Lain na lang.
saka, Councilor
Councilor
Kenneth Sakala.
Councilor Kenneth Sakala, you recognize? May na lang yun, nag-CR. Niabot na. Sige na lang. Okay na.
Okay na, okay na. Siya na. Come on na.
Okay na, proceed na. Okay.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair. Move for the approval of the proposed resolution number 2024-651 and proposed resolution number 2024-652 and the proposed resolution number 2024-653.
Second? Dali asada.
Sika.
Second by Councilor Agasuan.
Papagani Muhammad.
Papaginahuman. Objection? I hear none. Motion is hereby carried.
Move to approve on second final reading.
Second. Nagukod sila.
Item 4.
Second. Objection? I hear none. Motion is hereby carried.
Item 4, proposed resolution number 2024-654, expressing the collective support of the residents of Cagayan de Oro for the Philippine government efforts in protecting the West Philippine Sea. May I request Councilor Bade?
Councilor, majority, all members. This is
All,
support to the President, Congress, Panlalawigan, Sangguniang, Vice Mayor's League. So, all members.
Author is the Vice Mayor.
Yeah.
So,
All members also. All members.
All members,
Yeah.
principal authority, Vice Mayor.
Unanimous. Okay. So, any second? Any objection? I hear none. Motion is hereby carried.
Move to approve on second final reading.
Second. Objection. I hear none. Motion is hereby carried.
Number 5, proposed resolution number 2024-655, approving and or adopting the Transportation Master Plan for 2022 to 2032 of the City Government of Cagayan de Oro. Councilor Calizo is not around. The second is Councilor
Councilor Ian
Ian Mark Nakaya.
Councilor
Yes, yes.
Ian Mark Nakaya, you're recognized.
This has long been awaited for, Madam Presiding Officer, and on behalf of the transportation sector and the entire constituency of Cagayan de Oro, we move for the approval of the said
Okay.
matter.
Any second?
Second.
Objection? I hear none. Motion is hereby carried.
Move to approve on second and final reading.
Second. Objection? I hear none. Motion is hereby carried.
Number 6, proposed resolution number 2024-656, accrediting the KM8 Indigenous People Development Livelihood Association, Inc. for the purpose of its membership in the local special bodies pursuant to DILG Circular number 2022-0E3 and Article 64, Rule 13 of the Rules and Regulations implementing the 1991 Local Government Code, or funding in project of its projects from the city or other sources as required under the COA circular pertinent thereto. May I request Councilor Nakaya to be recognized.
Councilor Ian Mark Nakaya, recognize.
Tabian kay si Doktora, move for its approval.
And second? Objection? I hear none. Motion is hereby carried. Point of inquiry. Councilor Attorney James Judith, you have the floor.
Ako lang ning tatawon kay sa pagkakaron taliwala nga natay balaod sa IPMR mo connect ba ni siya sa paghatag nato pagrekognisar nato ani isip usa ka IP nga development nga organization dili ba ni siya makonektar sa atong pag-accredit pagrekognisar sa IPMR nga problema pagyapon hantud karon?
Okay. Councilor Ian Mark Nakaya.
It's not a concern because we have an IP representative here in the person of Councilor J. Roa Pascual. It has been a long acknowledgement.
Soon we are going to have one. IP. Soon.
In any case, that's a different process, Madam Presiding Officer. So our accreditation is just a process as regards the the local government codes requirement for membership in the local special bodies. But on the other side, as introduced as a query by Councilor James, that's a different process.
Okay. Any question? Second? Objection? I hear none. Motion is hereby carried.
Move to approve on second final reading.
Second? Objection? I hear none. Motion is hereby carried.
Number 7, proposed ordinance number 2024-387, authorizing the Honorable City Mayor Orlando A. Uy, representing the City Government of Cagayan de Oro, to enter into and sign the Memorandum of Agreement with the Land Bank of the Philippines, represented by its President and CEO, Lineth Ortiz, and its branch head, AVP Ligaya Padilla, covering the use of a 2 square meter area at the westbound terminal and public market located at Barangay Bulwa, the city, for establishment of one unit lobby type ATM under terms and conditions stipulated therein. May I request Councilor George Goking to recognize.
Councilor George Goki, you're recognized.
I find everything in order, Madam Chair. I move to approve the proposed ordinance number 2024-387.
Second? Objection? I hear none. Motion is hereby carried.
Item 8, proposed ordinance number 20.
Second.
Second, move to approve on second final reading.
Second? Objection? I hear none. Motion is hereby carried.
Number 8, Madam Chair, proposed ordinance number 2024-388, authorizing the Honorable City Mayor Orlando A. Uy, representing the City Government Cagayan de Oro, to enter into and sign the Memorandum of Agreement with the Land Bank of the Philippines, represented by its President and CEO, Lineth Ortiz, and its branch head, EBP Ligaya Padilla, covering the use of 2 square meter area at the city engineer's office compound located in Barangay Coswagan, the city, for the establishment of 1 unit through the wall ATM booth under the terms and conditions stipulated therein. May I request Councilor Balaba to be recognized.
Councilor Girly Balaba, you recognize?
I move for the approval of proposed ordinance number 2024-388.
Second. Objection. I hear none. Motion is hereby carried.
Move to approve on second final reading.
Second. Objection. I hear none. Motion is hereby carried.
Number 9, proposed ordinance number 2024-389, granting 1 grade salary increase from SJ 484/8 to SG 58 to Mr. Divino Soldevilla, former Barangay Health Aide, Office of the City Health Officer, the city who compulsorily retired from the government service last December 4, 2023, pursuant to Section 30 of Republic Act 7305 Magna Carta for Public Health Workers, and for this purpose appropriating the sum of 3,423 pesos 90 centavos from the item personal service salary savings of item number 84 NARS 2 for the period January 1 to 3, 2024 in the 2024 annual budget of the said office to be made available for the payment of his 3-month salary differential for the period September 4, 2023 to December 4, 2023. May I request Councilor Gani?
Councilor Lourdes Gani, you recognize?
Thank you. Maayong hapon ka natong tanan. Request for
Afternoon.
the approval of proposed ordinance number 2024-389.
Any second? Objection? I hear none. Motion is hereby carried.
Move to approve on second final reading.
Second. Objection? I hear none. Motion is hereby carried.
Number 10, proposed ordinance number 2024-390, extending the deadline of the period for renewal of business licenses, permits in the city public markets from February 29, 2024 to March 31, 2024. May I request Councilor Yan Lam Lim.
Councilor
be recognized.
Yan Lam Lim, you recognize?
Madam Chair, everything is in order. I move to purpose ordinance number, to approve purpose ordinance number 2024-390.
Second. Objection? I hear none. Motion is hereby carried.
Move to approve on second final reading.
Second. Objection? I hear none. Motion is hereby carried.
Item 11, proposed ordinance number 2024-391, authorizing the Honorable City Mayor Rolando A. Oy, representing the city government of Cagayan de Oro, to enter into and sign the memorandum of understanding with Xavier University Ateneo de Cagayan, represented by its president, Father Mars P. Tan, His J, covering the implementation of information, education, and communication campaign on solid waste management through the city local environment and natural resources CLENRO, a societal engagement of XQ students under the terms and conditions stipulated therein. May I request Councilor Kenneth Sakala be recognized.
Councilor Kenneth Sakala, you recognize?
Move for the proposed ordinance number 2024-391.
Second. Objection? I hear none. Motion is hereby carried.
Move to approve on second and final reading.
Second. Objection? I hear none. Motion is hereby carried.
Move to include items 12 and 13. 13? 13 only, Madam Chair.
13. Okay. Any second? Objection? I hear none. Motion is hereby carried.
Now, item 12, proposed ordinance number 2024-392, granting exemption from payment of amusement tax to the Cagayan de Oro Communication Coordinating Council, represented by its director, Miss Melody Sunugan, covering the concert tour of Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square of Jesus Christ of the Latter-day Saints through a live stream to be broadcasted to all SM cinemas nationwide on February 28, 2024. Councilor Yan Lamlim, being the chairman of the Appropriations
Councilor
Committee.
Yan Lamlim, you are recognized.
I move to approve purpose ordinance number 2024-392.
And a second? Objection? I hear none. Motion is hereby carried.
Number 13, proposed ordinance number 2024-393, establishing and institutionalizing the POROC system in the delivery of development programs in every barangay of Cagayan de Oro City, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes. I move for the approval of this ordinance, Madam Chair.
And a second? Clarification? Manifestation. Okay, manifestation. Councilor E.B. Imano?
Thank you, Madam Presiding Officer. Good afternoon to all the members of the City Council. Good afternoon, our guests, media, members of the City Council. Again, good afternoon. Madam Chair, I would just like to ask, I know item 13, inclusion, is certified urgent by the local chief executive, but I just have a few manifestations as well as a few inquiries that may follow later on. Now, in the said proposed ordinance, which is to establish, institutionalize the POROC system in the delivery of development programs in every barangay of Cagayan de Oro City and appropriating funds thereof and for other purposes. Now, in the said proposed ordinance, which again aims to institutionalize POROC systems for developmental purposes, if I am correct, Madam Chair. And yes, I think it would be of help to provide structure for our people in the POROC level, in the zone level, maybe our leaders in certain areas of our barangay. However, there may be, I have seen a few provisions that may have or may seem contradictory to the local code, local government codes. Now, in Section 32 of the Local Government Code, it said that city and municipal supervision over their respective barangays. Now, the city or municipality, through the city or municipal mayor concerned, shall exercise general supervision only, over component barangays to ensure that the said barangays act within the scope of their prescribed powers and functions. But if you have read in the attachment, in Section 5 of the proposed ordinance, however, provides that it is the mayor who will appoint people who will be responsible in the organization, strengthening, expansion of POROC, and the provision of...
Excuse me, what page?
Let me check, Madam Chair. 100.
100. Okay.
In the...
Section?
Section 5, Madam Chair.
Okay.
City POROC consultants. Thank you, Councilor Bernie.
Proceed.
Okay. It said there, Madam Chair, that there shall be city POROC consultants to be appointed by the city mayor that will be responsible, again, in the organization, strengthening, expansion of POROC and supervision, and the conduct of election of POROC officers in coordination with barangay officials. Now, as per jurisprudence, Madam Chair, provides that the power of supervision, mag-supervise lang siya, is defined as the power of superior officer to see to it that the lower officers perform their functions in accordance to the law. That is what the executive can do, if I am not wrong. Now, this is distinguished from the power of control or the power of an officer to alter or modify or set aside what a subordinate officer had done in the performance of his duties and to substitute the judgment of the former for that of the latter. Now, by assigning persons in the barangay level as consultants, the city mayor will now, in effect, have the power of control over barangays, rather than just the mere power of general supervision, in which the LGC allows. Now, maybe, Madam Chair, another point is that in barangays and in barangay affairs, they are supposed to be non-partisan. Now, the city will create this smaller unit in each barangay because, as said, it is in purok or zone levels of the different barangays. They must also remain to be non-partisan, not appointed. They should be non-partisan. Now, the presence of and supervision of city-appointed consultants in the purok level will then make it a partisan activity rather than non-partisan nga mao dapat ang naa sa atong balaod, which then goes against the law that we are fighting for. And maybe, Madam Chair, on the final note, the ordinance should be made to place the authority should be to the head of barangay or to the punong barangay, not to the local chief executive, or as in the ordinance has said, not to the city mayor. That's just my manifestation, Madam Chair. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Councilor Ibi Mano. Yes, Councilor Attorney Joe Yabo.
Nakulbansi sa kalakayan.
Nga naman. Author?
Thank you again, Madam Presiding Officer.
Okay. Ay, naglukapot.
Madam Presiding Officer, in addition to the manifestation of the good Councilor, Councilor Mano, I have also several questions, legal questions as to the matter, factual and legal questions on the matter. First, Madam Presiding Officer, I understand that this was certified urgent by the local chief executive, but maybe know what is the urgency on the matter, and was this first referred and discussed in the committee level? Second, if you try to check Section 4 of the said proposed ordinance, if the barangay officials, kung ang barangay officials ang in charge sa pag-divide sa tibuok barangay into puroks, nganuman nga ang consultant based sa Section 5 sa proposed ordinance, nganuman nga ang consultant man ang naay gahom nga mo-organize, mo-strengthen, mo-expand, and mo-supervise sa maong eleksyon sa mga purok. Third question, in the election of purok leaders, it was not even indicated who will be the participants. And how about those urban barangays nga walay purok? Unsa man pagpurma sa purok, gagmay kayo, example na yung mga barangay nga abotante, mga 100 ka pinra, like barangay 2, ipurok pa na nimo, commercial area naman eh. Also, if you try to check Section 6, it states here, a purok certification that shall be issued by the purok president na ma-elect. It will be a prerequisite in securing a barangay clearance. It should indicate that the applicant is a registered and good member in good standing of the purok where he or she resides. Now, I also have fears on this matter because sad as it may be, this can be used to politicize, and which is the thing that we want to avoid. Okay, what if kining purok presidente dili ganahan ani nga tao kay dili ni siya suportado sa di ni siya tao ni kapitan or dili ni nila sakop, dili may suwan og kay it is a prerequisite for him or her to get a barangay clearance, dili sa isuwan sa purok leader or purok president nila lobali. And that lastly, if you try to check Section 28 of the proposed ordinance, it states here administrative sanctions. Barangay officials found remiss in the implementation of this ordinance shall be administratively liable. Question: are members of the Liga ng mga barangay consulted about this already? Because naara ba sa penal provision? And kung i-penalize sila for if they found to be remiss on the performance and compliance of this ordinance, should it be passed, it would be it would now seem that the local government unit of Cagayan de Oro, or the city government, has now direct control over barangays, which supposedly under the local government code and the constitution itself, nag-ingon that we, even the national government as well as the city government, has only supervision over barangay, local government in the barangay levels. Perhaps, Madam Presiding, I think we would like to know the intention more of this proposed ordinance. And I presume, since it is certified urgent by the local chief executive, may we move, Madam Presiding Officer, that this be referred first to the committee level for further discussion before we pass this before this plenary.
Okay, Councilor, thank you very much, Councilor Attorney Joy Abu. Yes, Councilor, Councilor, not yet, not yet. I'm supposed to call Councilor Yan Lamlim. Anyway, you're there already, Councilor Roger Abaday. Daga na lang ni Councilor Yan Lamlim.
I have sensed your eyes that
You're
recognizing.
to eye contact me, ha?
Yeah, thank you very much, Madam Presiding Officer, my colleagues in this 20th City Council, and our friends who are watching us today. Now, actually, this ordinance is not new, but it's already institutionalized in our country, the POROC system. Now, the POROC is an informal division, no, within the barangay sa atong nasod. While it is not officially considered as local government unit, but the POROC is often served as a unit of delivering services and administrative within the barangay. Now, what is the importance of this system? Now, through the POROC system, people are empowered. So, na naman empowered na nato karon ang mga kabarangayan. So, they are empowered to participate in community governance and to take pivotal role in the government program. Especially, we have a problem now in our environmental waste management, problema ta sa peace and order, o problema sa nga naa mismo pangitabo sa purok. Who will manage that? So, parang micro management, no? Kaning system, no? Now, in fact, ang kaning purok system sa Pilipinas, sa atong nasod, in 2011, this system received the UN Sasakawa Award and gained prominence among the practitioners of the community. This was recognized internationally. So I think this is the one of the most important, that why we should have to pass this ordinance. Thank you very much.
Okay, Councilor Yan Lamlim, now you have the floor.
Madam Chair, I agree with Councilor Abaday. Ang purok is not really tanaw niyo politika o dili ni politika. Ang purok is we have naman tay education campaign, no? Sama lugar daghan kay complain sa mga basura. Kisa matong permi i-approach na to ang kapitan. Kung purok is na may listing kung kinsa gi-appoint, matawagan ni mayor. Tungod sa daghan lugar nga complain sa lugar sa basura, sa lugar sa peace and order, o mga program sa syudad nga sila mag-inform sa dali-dali nga panahon within that area, no? Sometimes ang kapitan dili man gina maka-inform sa tanan area. So I think this is not a bad atong i-recommend ni Mayor as di tagaan nato siya pagpili. At least na siya outline kung kinsa ang tawgon, kung unsay mga information nga madunggan niya sa gawas nga ang uban mag-report og maayo pero actual day sa field dautan, no? So I agree with Councilor Abaday.
Okay, thank you very much, Councilor. Magtana, nagpataas sa kamot. Councilor, thank you very much, Councilor Yan Lamlim. Councilor Ayan Atchas, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ako lang, Madam Chair, no, as a former punong barangay, namanggod sa ordinansa nga gi-create that there will be an election of the Purok President. Remember, Madam Chair, that the powers of the government emanates from the people. When we say there is an election of the Purok President, are we saying that we are giving powers to the Purok Kagawad or Purok President? When I was a punong barangay, never in my mind that the Purok President has the power to decide in behalf of the council, because barangay government has a legislative functions, executive functions. Ang worry, that's why Purok President is not defined in the local code, because our law is very careful that there will be usurpation of powers of the Purok President that will intervene the functions of the barangay. Now, it is guaranteed in our local code. It is the power of the executive and the barangay official to conduct a supervisory power to the Purok. Wala may Purok leader na. Gani, kung imong tanawon, Madam Chair, it is just only a fiction. Dili siya applicable to all. How about the 1 to 40 barangay? Wala sila'y suna, wala sila'y Purok. Are they empowered? Now, here comes our local government of Cagayan de Oro. We are chanting. We are telling the people of Cagayan de Oro barangay empowerment. How can we define barangay empowerment to Purok system? They are very contradicting, Madam Chair. That's why I believe this ordinance cannot be passed, because there is a usurpation of authority between the punong barangay, barangay kagawad. Remember, Madam Chair, when the local government of Cagayan de Oro passed an ordinance, the ease of doing business, we deprived the freedom of the punong barangay their powers of supervisory, not even to issue a barangay certificate. Nawala na sa barangay. Now, kung kini atong itugot, ang atong mga barangay kapitan mas gamhanan pa ang iyang Purok leader kay githuan sa mayor. What happened to the peace and order in the barangay? It is against public order. It may be against a public custom. That's why this ordinance, Madam Chair, dili appropriate. And gusto lang unta kung makadungog, no, sa atong Liga President. Is he defending the rights, the duties, and obligations of the punong barangay? Because he's very silent. The role of the ABC President is to take the interest of the barangay. Then why here this ordinance is the interest of the Purok leader, when in fact it is not defined by the local code that the Purok leader has a power, because Purok is only a fiction in the barangay. It is not a legal entity to consider. Nga ato silang hatagan og gahom, ato silang i-elect, then this election will create powers to the Purok leader. Muna, Madam Chair, in my manifestations, I hope that masabtan sa uban ang among sentimento. Daghang salamat ug
Okay, thank you very much, Councilor Arian Achas. Yes, Councilor Yan Lam Lim would like to reply. You have the floor.
You are talking about ease of doing business. Itagaan tag power sa mga kapitan. Ang mga dagkong area nga kapitan, kung dako nga building, dugay-dugayon kay mangita mangayog dako nga bayad. Busa gani nga gihimo ni President Duterte sa ease of doing business because of the red tape. Kaning Purok dili man naingon dautan. Kaning Purok dili maingon nga makuan ni ang atong siyudad maghatag og assistance to the Purok leader aron matagaan og information si mayor kay daghan mag-complain asa area nga basura, daghan asang area at least this is a campaign for recycling, natay tao nga gisulduan. Kung walay sweldo, di man na mutrabaho ang mga tao. Kinsa may sweldo, dili na ganaigo atong budget sa barangay. Kanang mga barangay gamay, mga gagmay barangay. Assigning Purok para tagaan silang information what is the development of the city to fast track the ang nahitabo nga gusto ni mayor nga mga complaint maatiman. mura na atong matabangan sa madali nga panahon. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Councilor Yan Lamlim. Yes, Councilor Amy Moreno, you're raising your hand.
Yes, Madam Chair, dagang salamat ug maayong hapon and sa akong mga kauban sa 20th City Council. Good afternoon and to our guests. Actually, Madam Chair, I would like to manifest that I agree with the good Councilor Evie Emano, when she mentioned about the Section 32 saying that the authority is being given to the mayor in getting the said Purok leaders. And in addition to what she had discovered, sa Section 5 of the ordinance, I also see here Section 29, which states the transitory provisions. Pending the election of Purok officials, the city mayor is hereby authorized to appoint the interim Purok president from the list of 3 nominees per Purok to be submitted by the Sangguniang Barangay. Therefore, Madam Chair, as mentioned by our minority floor leader about the usurpation, na wala na local autonomy or gahom ang barangay na mulihok, murag na atong gihatag sa atoang city mayor ang gahom to run the barangay. And also, Madam Chair, I honestly believe dako nga tabang ang pwede ihatag sa barangay. And I've always believed that the LGU cannot do it, cannot solve problems on its own. However, my next question would be, is the appropriation measures. Okay, my question is, was this included in the executive budget? And if so, okay, but if not, asa nato kuhaon? Kay dagan naay appropriations na kinahanglan for this. So but pasabot, kinahanglan pod mugawas og kwarta ang syudad. So it's a matter of prioritizing. Yes, I do believe that barangays have so many concerns that need to be addressed, and kinahanglan pod ng tabang gikan sa LGU ang mga barangay. However, what impact will this do to our budget? But pasabot, nabay matangtang na budget. Kay if you remember, 11.7 billion ang atuang budget, 2.7 of which is for the gikan sa loan. So that's about 8.9, I believe, 8.9 budget. It is merely a budget, meaning naanatay daghan nga expenses, pero asa na to kuhaon ng kwarta? And ang ira na to is only 2 billion something. So but pasabot, the city needs to produce 6 billion pesos for the existing budget. Now, in addition to this, how can the government give what it does not have? Now, I would not have wanted to mention this, but sa karon na amantay delay sa mga sweldo sa LGU, and naapod ko'y staff na unta kuhaon niya ang heya niya, hangtod ang tubag sa iya sa finance is walay kwarta. And yet here we are appropriating funds for another set of expenses, which I believe is also important. However, the question is, asa kuhaon ng budget? Can we afford it? So, kana lang, Madam Chair. Dagang salamat.
Thank you very much, Councilor Amy Moreno. Yes, Councilor Agasuan, you have the floor. Gwapo di, kaya dagang kapataas kamot.
Okay, thank you so much, Madam Chair. I will go directly to the essence of this ordinance. If we were to pass or to institutionalize the Purok system, we are basically adding another layer of bureaucracy to an already complicated political system in Cagayan de Oro. Since there is an election of Purok leaders, it is automatically political, Madam Chair. If we make a Purok system, it is like building a barangay within the barangay. And that is, in and of itself, a very redundant action. Madam Chair, the purpose of the Purok system is basically the function of the barangay. And that is the reason why we have the barangay system to implement such projects. As I was skimming through the ordinance, Madam Chair, I came across one section that says they will be giving out prizes to specific puruks with an incentive of 1 million, 1.5 million worth of projects. So are we now giving projects to the puruks? Madam Chair, I believe that simplicity is a foretaste of divinity. We should just simplify the way we deliver our projects, our programs. And if, again, we add the puruk system, we will be lost in the political maze, Madam Chair. So that is just my point. I would like to question the essence because I believe the barangay is powerful enough to deliver the functions of this said purok system, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilor Agasuan. Yes, Councilor Bernice Parsha. Everybody will have the chance to talk.
Thank you,
Don't
Madam
worry.
Presiding Officer.
I can see you all.
Sa atong tanan ng mga naminaw, sa akong mga kauban, sa mga nagtanaw sa online, mayong hapon kanatong tanan. Kabalo nagyuguan ni Madam Chair, last night pa lang when I received the agenda, when I read the agenda, murag kabalo ko nga murag kanig yun ang agenda nga medyo murag dagang gyud komento ani. Madam Presiding Officer, when I read the name of the ordinance, an ordinance establishing and institutionalizing the purok system, but in fairness na may sumpay in the delivery of development programs, then I read the parameters, Madam Presiding Officer, kung unsa man gyud ang unod o unsay tumo nga ning ordinansa. In fairness, Madam Presiding Officer, sa Section 19 on the search parameters, criteria, and point system, medyo nalipay ba kog tanaw ani because in fairness, like sa giingon ni Councilor Roger Abaday, burag ang gusto nato mahitabo is to micro ba ang mga barangay in terms sa mga nagkadaiyang problema. To name a few, Madam Presiding Officer, nalipay ko aning nasa cleanliness, health, and sanitation. Kay atog yung gusto may bawaan kung usahay manggod do naman tay mga barangay nga mga numbers nga numbered barangay sa mga usahay gamay ra ni sila. Pero in fairness to these big barangays also, Madam Presiding Officer, mo sa ning usahay problema kay kung natay gusto ipabuhat naiuban mga zona or purok nga sila maayo sa ingani nga mga, for example, kaning mga segregation, naiuban barangay or zona or purok gabuhat. Pero nasa iuban nga wala. Pero kasagara madamay ang entire barangay. So in this case, gwapo kay ni kay part sa parameters kay giperpurok yun. And tama ang giingon ni Councilor Agasuan nga gani murang naghatag pata nagpahatag pata prices or I think ang kwandiri is incentives to those purok na kanang in fairness pod lugar sa ilahang mga areas musunod gayud. We have here cleanliness, health and sanitation, ganahan sa guani kay naapotay purok functionality, which is the presence of bayanihan system which kailangan nato gyud ni sa atong mga purok, and even our socio-economic initiatives which ako bias ko diri sa akong unang distrito nga dagang kitay mga hinterland barangays which kailangan taaning mga livelihood activities, communal gardens, and even this plant nursery and household backyard garden. In fairness to this ordinance, is ma-empower nato ni mga ginagmay nga mga purok nga sila maningkamot o at least naman sila makadawat og incentives nga sila sa ilang own way nga sa gamay nga grupo makabuhat sila ingani. Madam Presiding Officer, kanila nga akong isa nga medyo diri lang medyo gray area. Wala man gud gi-define diri kaning giingon nga like on the section 9 sa qualification, no person shall be eligible to run or be a candidate for any purok officer position unless if he or she is a member in good standing. Wala lang ako diri nakitang definition sa unsay pasabot sa member in good standing kay sa homeowners sa subdivision ang kanang member in good standing is nagpuyo ka nga wala kay putol-putol nagbayad ka sa imong monthly dues.
which is naman ko'y uban areas diri nga mangingon nga mubutar, pwede makabutar basta kay naalang kay property. Pero naman sa uban nga excuse me, nay property pero wala diha nagpuyo. Nasa uban nagpuyo sa purok pero dili po siya ang tag-iya sa property, nagrenta ra po siya. Diha lang ko medyo na ay gray area, Madam Presiding Officer, in terms nga atong gistoryahan ang in kaso pag-election, pagbotar kung kinsa ang angay botaran diha sa mga purok leaders. Daghang salamat, Madam
Okay,
Presiding
thank you
Officer.
very much, Councilor Bernice Parsa. Yes, Councilor Girly Balaba, you have the floor.
2 cents lang, Madam Chair, no? Kini mo good, when you're in the opposition, when you belong to the opposition group, you would say na this is politically parang politicized ang ordinansa. But kung imong buot gyud na sabton, no, kay ang ato magudari is how to deliver efficiently and kini bang effectively ang mga programa sa atong gobyerno. If our chief executive ayaw na ninyo tanawa ang kinsa ang nakalingko diha. Ato diha is if our local chief executive may ang iyahang gusto na pamaagi, no, kay lahi-lahi manggud ta og unsaon nato pag deliver sa ato ang mga programa. Inani ang iyahang buot mahitabo. No, we should support the kining pag deliver for as long as, no, and I think sa ato ang no legal objection, no legal impediments na coming from the city legal office sa ato ang kining naisutan ni ordinansa. So I pose no objection to that to the said ordinance.
Okay, thank you very much, Councilor Attorney Joey Abu. You have the floor. Then Majority Floor Leader, you're next.
Madam Presiding Officer, thank you very much again. I would just like to debunk the notion that if we are in the opposition, we would always consider things political. No. As what I have manifested a while ago, I pose legal and factual questions, not political. That is precisely, Madam Presiding Officer, daghan man kaayo pud kaayo ang pangutana nga naa diri karon and which should have been properly addressed before the committee level. That's why I moved a while ago, I made a subsidiary motion that this be referred first to the committee level so that everything will be threshed out in the said forum, and once everything is answered, it will be then brought back here before this plenary. And also, Madam Presiding Officer, kining sistema sa purok na naman ni sa atua. Even without this, kasabot ko maayo kayo ni. I really get the point of why this ordinance is being proposed and being passed. Kasabot ko ani kay mag-micromanage. But even until now, na naman ang mga matag barangay naman ay mga purok leaders nila. So, kinilang gusto lang siya i-micromanage, but again, Madam Presiding Officers, there are factual and legal questions raised as everybody has heard a while ago and not political. Ang katulang sigurong political nga akong na-mention a while ago is katong issuance sa barangay clearance na it has to be, there must be a certification first issued by the purok president before the barangay will issue a barangay clearance, which I would say na it could be politicized, not here in the city council, but in the barangay level and even in the purok level. So, that is what we are trying to avoid. So, Madam Presiding Officer, as I have moved a while ago, I made a subsidiary motion, as everybody has been asking or posing questions already, na dili nato na siya ma-deliberately and intelligently discussed before this plenary. That's why I move that this item be referred to the Committee on Barangay Affairs for further deliberation.
Thank you very much, Councilor Attorney Joey Abu. Yes, Majority Floor Leader, Attorney Edgar Cabanlas. You have the floor. Wako kita sa iyang kamot.
Tindog lagi. Oh.
Mubuon man, mubuon. No. I called first the majority.
Humana ka ng sulti kanina. Bravo. Madam Chair, kini mga problema nga inani. This is part of the evolution of government. Kanya to sa 1980, before the passage of the local government code, ang barangay wala is not identified as a basic local unit. Ang munisipyo pa kanya to. Purana, exist na ang barangay. And then, the passage of time, nakapagdaanan na ito bago na atong balaod sa local government, then it was given a personality na ilang legal recognition under the law. Karon gadako na sa ng barangay. Nga na sini mga purok. Salamat kanita nga ito ka nang gitagaan. Advance kita karon in modern government nga. Kining sitwasyon sa purok, mo kining sitwasyon kaniya ito sa mga barangay. Kung imong tanaw ng powers and duties of the purok, wala may nakakonflict sa barangay. It's only in the assistance or assisting in the distribution of basic services sa mga tao. Kaya kung magkadako na ang barangay, daghan na kay tao, unruly na kayo ang pag-deliver sa services. Wala na proper control. Usaman bitaw, problema ka na, bisang inis mga pulis, sa peace and order, nga ang number of police is dependent on the number of population. Karon tingali 100,000 pang population at the ratio of one policeman for every 1,000 pwede na 100. 20 years ago ang Cagayan de Oro. Karon daghan na kakita, so musaka inana na siya. So we should be abreast with the development of our city. Now, ang function sa barangay was never taken over by the purok. Yung tanahon diya. Wala man. Pulo sa gina, tabang mga vaccination, tabang sa mga stray animals, distribution sa mga mga assistance panahon sa mga kalamidad. Nothing interacts or interferes with the powers of the barangay. Pasalamaton gani kita nga nakini karon. Gani, just to be frank, na mga panahon nga, for example, ikaw ang mayor, is supposed to be. Remember nga, city mayor has the supervision over the barangay captain. But look what happened in the past. Dili lang din sa ato sa Cagayan de Oro. Mag-deliver ta sa mga calamity assistance sa mga kung di mo sugot ang barangay captain, di kasulod. But with this now, pwede na, kaya na may mga purok. Pwede na nga, dito na ito iagi. Kung di sumusugot ang kapitan, pasulod ka diya. At least, na ni. So, it will work on both sides. It will work on both sides. And remember nga, doon ay election ini every year. So, if the barangay captain will say nga, I will control the purok, he can do that. Why? Because he can influence the election. He can campaign. Secretly or not, he can do that. But at least, the city government can have now that opportunity, that window, wherein it can deliver what it wants to deliver to the people, even if it is against the will of the barangay. So, very simple. As I said, this is an evolution of governance. Kaya ito, karugog purok, balangay kaya ito, binisya kaya ito, balangay. Karoon na barangay. But it was never recognized. It was only given that face and recognition when we passed the local government code. But before that, never. Now, as we grow, as population increases, as we have more money now to be given to the people directly, then there is now another pamahagi nga ato kining masatisfy ang services nato sa ngatos mga tao by utilizing this purok. Karon as of now useless, kulang sa incentive. Muna nga gini sa atong ordinance naay mga incentive so that the purok leaders nga atong unya nga modala sa mga purok matagaan sa kaikag o pamaagi kalipay nga sila makatabang. They will help not only the city government, they will also help their barangays. Simple. So I object to the motion for referral to the
Okay, thank you very much. So there's this motion, wala pa yung second. Motion to defer. No second? Wala pa. There's this objection.
The motion to
Objection from the majority.
yes.
Balik sa natong motion to
To defer.
to defer.
Oh, in the second.
Any second?
Oh, yes.
Second.
I object.
Objection. Okay, so let us divide the house. Objection. So, for those who would like to, who is supporting the ordinance, deferment pa muna? No, it's already objected. The deferment is objected. Okay. For the deferment, kindly raise your right hand for deferment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, those who are not in favor for deferment, please raise your right hand. 12 for against deferment and for deferment.
So let us go back to the main motion, Madam Chair.
Okay, let us go for the Councilor Ayan Mark Nakaya, you're raising your hand.
Thank you, Madam Presiding Officer. I would like to discuss the organization as a unit, Madam Presiding Officer, vested with the power and the roles provided by the local government code on the barangays. First, it exists because there is the code that was established and enacted, implemented in 1992. And though several changes have already been made and enacted, and several circulars and regulations have also been formed to enhance the development and the management of communities, still remains, it's the smallest local government units in the entire archipelago. In other words, it has already the role. It has already the function. I objected to the deferment because I would like to introduce amendments, because based on my understanding on the local government code, they are independent. In fact, to a certain extent, they are autonomous. If we quarrel that authority, it means we are bigger than Congress, but we are not. We are a subsidiary of the entire national government. In other words, we have the power, but an extended power of Congress. So whatever legislations that we should have, it must not be higher than the requirement provided by Congress, Madam Presiding Officer. If, for example, the local government code and the authority of the punong barangay to grant barangay clearance for establishments, to grant barangay clearance for a person who is residing in the community, is vested exclusively to the punong barangay, we should not provide the ground rules. We should not provide the regulations that would superimpose the authority given to the punong barangay. And if we have a requisite for the punong barangay to issue a clearance for the situ president to be given that authority, that may be perhaps contrary to law, Madam Presiding Officer. And if we clip the authority of the punong barangay by way of granting through an ordinance the president of the purok to become members of the lupong tagapamayapa. In other words, if the barangay has 20 or more sitio presidents, necessarily they become members by virtue of the ordinance if they follow the ordinance plus more than 20. And while I have a sense that there is a necessity, because during our time, Madam Presiding Officer, in the barangay, all the presidents of the neighborhood associations are all members of the Barangay Development Council, but not lupong tagapamayapa. Because it requires expertise, experience, credibility to a certain set of leadership and trust coming from the constituency in the area where he or she is elected. So that would be another superimposing if we grant the authority, Madam Presiding Officer. And that is the only things that maybe we can harmonize with the national law and be subservient to the rules and regulations. But to mainstream, which is the purpose of the executive, that we should mainstream leadership not only to the intermediary level, which are the officers of the barangay, but to go down to the purok, to the sitios, to the zones. That's mainstreaming, and I agree that we should do that.
Okay. Thank you very much, Councilor Ayan Mark Nakaya. I saw you. Look at me. Councilor Attorney James Judith. You're looking at the monitor. I'm here. I'm sitting here. Then somebody will call you there. Not here. Okay. You recognize.
Dili akong gimonitor. Salamat, Madam Presiding Officer. I was looking at the monitor. Kaya akong gitanaw kung pwede na ba kung makasulod?
But I'm sitting here.
Yes, thank you, Madam Presiding Officer. Salamat sa pagsabot. Inani lang, ang ako lang klarohon, kani magod ang atong sugyot ordinansa, dili na ni bago, dili pinasahi, kay nahimo na ni sa, base sa akong pagduki-duki, nahimo na ni sa lungsod sa Camotes, labi na sa ilang barangay sa San Fernando, San Francisco, lalawigan sa Cebu. Gani, nag-benchmarking pa ang gitawag nato nga ang lugar sa Bantayan Island, kabahin sa gihimo nga ordinansa sa lungsod sa Camotes. Inani lang, akong tatawon. Ang in English sa barangay, ang tawag ana village. Ang in English sa purok, hamlet, or subdivision, or distrito, sulod sa barangay. Kung basihan nimo sa atong local government code, nagingon nga ang mga giilara nga mga local government units, ang probinsya, ang syudad, ang munisipyo, o ang barangay. Subot pasabot, kay di raman taman bali ang gingon sa local government unit, local government code, pwede ang barangay nga maghimo sa iyang kaugalingon nga dibisyon sulod sa iyang barangay. Kay wala man nagbawal ang RA 7160. Kung tan-awon pod nga naa mismo sa maong sugyot o ordinansa, nag-ingon pod sa kabalaka nato sa mga urban barangays, labi na barangay 1 to 40, unsa na lang mahimo nga mga gagmay sila. Nag-ingon ang Section 3 sa maong sugyot ordinansa nga dili mo ubos sa 50 ka household. Pwede nga mahimong subdivision or purok or zona sa sulod sa barangay. So dili man mo ubos bali na may pinakagamay nga barangay dinhi sa atong number 1 to 40 naagay pinaka-average na nga duha ka purok na mahimo kung basihan nato ang gitawag nga not less than 50 households base sa Section 3 sa kaning sugyot ordinansa. So baligon ako, wala nagbawal ang atong local government code kung imog yung tan-awon. Kay wala na appeal ang atong gitawag nga sitio kabahin sa naabay gahom ang barangay sa labi na gitawag nga supervision. Inani lang, kung madumduman ni Madam Presiding Officer ni Kuya Roger Abaday, nga kami nakahinabi na training sa kang ang mismong amahan sa local government code nga si Senator Aquilino Tatay Pimentel, kung madumduman ni Kuya Roger. Nag-ingon si Tatay Nene. Kaya gani, dito na ako nakuha sa iya. Kung wala man galing nagbawal ang local government code, pwede nimo mahimo ang tanan. Basta isa lang kabutang ang imong lantawon, makaayo ba ni sa katawhan? Kung imong tanawon, ang maubaling nga sugyot ordinansa, gitugutan mga nita sa local government code nga maghimog mga brigada or tanods or sa mga community nga mga organizations para unsa pa nga mga pundok para sa kahusay ug kalinaw samot pa ka nga ang ato lang gilantaw sa mong sugyot ordinansa ang paghatag sa batakan nga serbisyo sa atong kabarangayan didto na gyud sa pinakailahom niini ang mga purok or zona. Ang ako lang matud pa ni Senator ani Tatay Nene Pimentel. Kung wala nagbawal ang local government code, kung imong tan-aw sa atong lakang nga gihimo para sa kayuhan sa tanan, pwede nimo kini himuon sa ngalan sa gitawag nato nga GWC, the General Welfare Clause, Kuya Roger. Daghang salamat, Madam Presiding Officer ug Astang Cagayan de Oro.
Thank you very much, Councilor Attorney James Judith. Yes, Majority Floor Leader, Attorney Edgar Cabarlas.
Main motion, this is a pending main motion for the approval of this ordinance, Madam Chair. Duly
Yeah.
seconded. Any objection?
Second? Final manifestation. Yes, Councilor Evie Mano, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I believe that this will no longer go to the committee level. And let me just give this final manifestation why. With all the answers that I've heard, with all the manifestations that were given, something really kind of bothered me in a way that when we say we will put purok leaders that will have direct access or that can be in direct contact with our local chief executive for as what was brought up for garbage problems, peace and order problems, dissemination of information, additional manpower, magtabang kung naay problema sa matag barangay, makatabang ato mga lideres kada purok. You know what, Madam Chair, I understand. And actually, mayo man. But in doing or in putting these people in these different puroks that can go directly or they have direct access to our local chief executive, Madam Chair. Ako, Madam Chair, I have always been a firm believer of barangay empowerment. I was always taught to understand, to accept the choices of the people in different barangays kung kinsa ilang pilion nga punong barangay. Nya katong gi-bring up nga mga, additional tao para makatabang sa problema sa basura, peace and order, to name a few, among others. I think it would go down to the leadership of the punong barangay nga gipili sa katawhan sa matag barangay. Unya kung pariha sa example kaganina, dili dawaton sa punong barangay ang mga hinabang kay igno nato kay ganina kung sayop ko og quote or sayop akong pagsabot, please do correct me, Mr. Secretary, nga dili dawaton sa barangay tungod kay dili kauban or naay mga projects sa city government baka or sa gobyerno, sa DP, dili dawaton sa kapitan, so ihatag na lang nato sa barangay, sa purok. If I am not wrong, mao akong pagsabot sa akong gamay nga kahibalo. And it is just, I don't want to put it out there, but I feel like it is belittling the capacity of our punong barangays. Nga they were chosen freely by the people nga to lead the barangay in terms of, making the barangay work in all levels and in all aspects. So ako lang, Madam Chair, I just want to point that out. And in addition, ako pong gikwenta. Kung maghatag 3,000 per month per purok, let's just say annual, no, it's 3,000 annual per purok sa kaning ato mga, yes, it will entail additional also nga expenses for us, which I think pwede man sad siguro na nato nga magamit for other purposes, which would be more of a priority to the city, to the people of the city. So that's just my final manifestation, Madam Chair. Thank you very much and good afternoon.
Okay, thank you very much, Councilor E.B. Mano. Yes, Majority Floor Leader.
There is no objection? None.
No
So-
manifestation?
Objection. So,
This is objection.
so we divide the House. Madam Chair.
Yeah, let's divide the House. Those who are in favor of this ordinance may raise their right hand, please. In favor. Okay, 12. Those who are not in favor may raise their right hand. So 5.
Approve.
Motion is carried.
Move to approve on second final reading.
Any second? Objection.
The same number of objection and the same number of...
The same number of objection, only 4? 5? 5.
Five.
Okay. Say, proceed. An objection?
The same number.
Same number. Okay. Motion is hereby carried.
No more.
Are we done?
There being no other matters to take up, Madam Chair,
Okay.
motion to adjourn.
I thought everybody wanted to speak pa. Motion. Session adjourned. Ano man ako na pa discussion?